Welcome, everyone, to Out Summit. This is our 6th annual Out Summit, and we're the first time we're doing it virtually. And we're so happy to have you all join us. I'm Sjödin, Deputy Executive Director of Outright Action International, hosting you for this conference. And we have over 1,400 people from over 70 countries registered, from civil society, private sector, funders, and governments. This year is Outright's 30th anniversary. You may hear us mention that a few times over the next couple of days. Out Summit takes place around International Human Rights Day, because for too long, human rights of LGBTIQ people were not really considered human rights. And we wanted to create a space where activists, diplomats, funders, business leaders, and other allies could come together to share challenges and best practices and strategize for LGBTIQ equality. And over the next 3 days, you'll see how our program reflects this intent. We will hear from brave activists fighting for their lives, from states taking action beyond their borders, from private entities using their platforms for change, from journalists amplifying the voices of LGBTIQ people, and from many, many more. Out Summit would not be possible without support and partnerships. And I want to start by mentioning the Sjödin Center for International Peace and Justice and the Human Rights and Gender Justice Clinic at the City University of New York School of Law, our partners in organizing Out Summit over many years. I want to thank the Summit's founding supporter, the Small Change Foundation. And I want to thank this year's event sponsors, the Procter & Gamble Company, Dell Technologies, Levi Strauss, Microsoft, the Walt Disney Company, Herman Miller, Verizon, and Nomura Holdings America. And I also want to thank the Partnership for Global LGBTI Equality for its collaboration with us. So I know that Hopin is a new platform for many of us. We are now, if you're watching me now, you are in what is called the stage. You can navigate to each section from the icons on the left-hand side. If you have any technical difficulties, we have a team on standby in a live tech session, which will be active throughout the 3 days. So if you click on sessions on the left, you can get to the tech support. So welcome speeches, keynotes, and the opening plenary will take place here on the stage. Our workshops and other sessions will take place in the sessions. And you can also check out the expo and networking icons. Just click there to connect with other people. Virtual communication is great. And I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that for some, digital safety is of particular concern. Please make sure that you respect others and always follow our code of conduct, which you'll find the link in the chat. You can also use the chat to pose questions throughout the Out Summit. And feel free to send direct messages to any Outright staff members with any concerns that you may have. I also want to make sure that everyone knows that in addition to this 4-hour block that's just starting now, we also have satellite sessions in 12 hours, whether that's tonight, tomorrow, or in the middle of the night, depending on where you are, to accommodate participation from more time zones. Those of you who have been to Out Summit before know that we usually meet at the CUNY School of Law. And I now want to welcome Mary Lou Bilek, Dean of CUNY School of Law, to the stage to offer remarks.
Welcome. My name is Mary Lou Bilek, and I'm the Dean of CUNY Law School. I want to thank Outright International for asking me to welcome you and for giving CUNY School of Law the opportunity to co-sponsor the 6th annual Outright Summit. For the last 5 years, I've looked forward to this conference to express my support and gratitude for the work that each of you here, LGBTIQ activists, students, private sector representatives, journalists, and diplomats, do every day. There can be no more important work than the work of ensuring that every human being be given the opportunity to express their identity fully, to fully belong, participate, and thrive. If there is anything this moment of pandemic and pain teaches us, it is that the work that we need to do to create equality, to provide healthcare, to address our environmental crises, to ensure food and housing security for all people, to create educational equality and opportunity, to provide each of us with opportunities for meaningful work and living wages, demands the participation, creativity, labor, and collaboration of every single person on this planet. Your activism and advocacy push us to create the conditions necessary to unleash the full potential of each of us. The law school's mission is to create access to legal education and the profession, and to graduate excellent, competent, creative social justice lawyers. We're hitting our stride. We've been ranked #1 for public interest in the country and #1 in placing our grads in public interest and social justice jobs. We've been ranked #2 for diversity and inclusion, and our clinics are ranked #2 by US News and World Reports. And recently, in the first ever ranking of its kind, we were ranked as the #2 law school in the country for racial justice. No one yet ranks law schools specifically for their inclusion of LGBTIQ students, but I have little doubt that with 26% of our entering class identifying as LGBTIQ and 5% as non-binary, and nearly a quarter of our faculty identifying as LGBTIQ, we would rank #1. Through our Sorensen Center for International Peace and Justice, and through our Human Rights and Gender Justice Clinic, and in every one of our classrooms, our work is your work, and yours is ours. I'm especially inspired, and you serve as role models for our students, by the way you connect your work to other movements: the women's movement, the anti-racism movement, the anti-ableist movement, workers' movements, corporate sustainability movements. The personal and societal intersectionalities that define us create authentic spaces for progress and enable the deep partnerships and the cross-cutting efforts that lead to lasting change. I thank you for all that you do and all that you will imagine today and implement tomorrow to make it more likely that in every way, the world will be a better place. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Micheal Ighodaro, and it's my honor to be one of the co-chairs of the board of Outright Action International. Outright is one of the oldest global organizations working for LGBT equality. We celebrate our 30th anniversary this year by documenting human rights violations, building capacity of local LGBTQI organizations around the world, and advocating for inclusion, equity of LGBT people at the United Nations. Outright works to eradicate the persecution, inequality, and violence LGBTQI people face every day. So this is the 6th summit, Out Summit, that we will celebrate. I want to begin by saying thank you to all of the staff who worked hard to bring this event to you, and to our partners who have supported us. I am grateful for all of you. I am saddened that I cannot welcome you in person at the 6th Out Summit in person, but the need for us to meet has only grown over the last 8 months. While the COVID-19 pandemic has left no country or person unaffected, as all crisis situations, this pandemic has affected those most vulnerable, like LGBTQI people, more severely than the general population. Across the world, our communities have faced a devastation of livelihood, risk of domestic and family violence, raising mental health challenge caused by isolation, and the inability to connect with communities. We have also been blamed for the pandemic, kept from life-saving humanitarian aid, and moreover, an existential threat has befallen our lifeline, LGBTQ organizations, as they too battle to overcome and adapt to current circumstances. In this context, the need for space to come together to share insights and best practices and to strategize across civil society, state, and private sector boundaries for the human rights of LGBT people is even more important. And this virtual format has enabled the highest number ever to join Out Summit. Over 1,000 people have registered to join us today. If we are going to keep the gains we have fought for, and even harder, for more, each one of us must try to first be in the shoes of the other, to show love, show compassion. We must provide the space for LGBTQI people of color to tell their stories. For white LGBT people, I urge you to listen and acknowledge that the effect of slavery didn't vanish in the 60s, or that homophobia suddenly went away when we won marriage equality. I urge you to march for Black lives and say the names of Selena Reyes Hernandez, Dustin Parker, and many trans women who have been murdered just by being who they are. Lastly, I want to leave you with the words of one of the greatest orators of our time. Do not get lost in the sea of despair. Be hopeful. Be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is a struggle of a lifetime. Never ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. Congressman John Lewis. Thank you for being here. Next, I want to welcome one of Outright's ambassador, Alan Cumming, to share a message with you all.
Welcome to Out Summit, Outright Action International's annual global convening for the human rights of LGBTIQ people. I am honoured to be an Outright ambassador and help kick off this year's event in honour of Outright's 30th anniversary. We're here to celebrate our community, to share the challenges we face in different parts of the world, and to strategise how to push for equality for LGBTIQ people everywhere. We're joined by activists from around the world, state representatives, officials from the UN and other international organisations, private sector allies, journalists, legal experts, students, artists, donors, and other friends. Together, we are diverse and we are powerful. We're so pleased you're here with us this week. Thank you for joining and enjoy Out Summit.